if you've been working on justice, if you've been attempting to snuff out that lust for dominance that you have in yourself, you've probably recognized by now that you're going to have to be patient. You have to be patient with yourself. You're going to have to be patient with others. It's going to take some time. Maybe you've even recognized what Paul recognized, that we need to be patient because there's another power at play. Paul says in the book of Romans, he says, why is it that I always do the things that I don't want to do? And the things that I want to do, I never do them. He's proclaiming his humility in the fact that he can't do all the things that he wants to do. Why is it that we as humanity, we know what we should do? Sometimes we don't have the power to do it. Sometimes we're tempted beyond our power and we do the things that we hate. And why is that? Because there's another power at play. Jesus tells us that clearly. He tells that to Peter just before he leaves the earth. He's trying to build up his leaders and he's warning them. He says the same words to us as he says to Peter. To Peter, he says, Peter, Satan desires to sift you like wheat. Isn't that chilling language? I mean, what if you just imagine Jesus saying that to you, and he does say it to you. He says it to me. This is what Satan wants to do to the human family. He wants to divide. He wants to sift you like wheat. And there goes Jesus again using veiled language. And why does he do it? Why does he use this analogy? He uses it because there's such a deeper meaning that goes underneath. And what is that deeper meaning? Something that he couldn't convey just by saying, Satan wants to kill you. Satan hates you. Okay. But Satan wants to sift you like wheat. Well, the true analogy is that wheat, just like any other flour, it has a head, and on that head is the beauty, or it's the fruit, right? Wheat is actually a crop that is used even in our country to this day. And in order to reap that fruit, it has to be divided. You put it through a sieve, and in that sieve or that filter, it cuts off the head of the wheat. And that is its fruit, but it's divided from the body, which is thrown away. Jesus is basically saying to Peter, Satan just doesn't want to kill you. He wants to cut off your head. And not only that, if we take it a step further, if we have eyes to see, if we have ears to hear, if we want to see the wisdom of Jesus, he's actually saying to Peter, Peter, remember that the church is the mystical body of Christ. That the body of Christ is connected to a head, which is Jesus himself, connected to God, which is the fruit, which is the source of our life. Satan wants to cut you off from me. And when you're cut off from me, he will divide us. He will divide the human family. You will have no power. We know the story of Peter. We know that's exactly what happens. Peter cuts himself off from Jesus. He denies Jesus in his fear, in his quest and his lust for dominance. Not wanting to be out of control, but wanting to be in control. Peter falls. Satan wants the human family divided. He's done a pretty good job. We've allowed him to whisper because we've allowed ourselves to be cut off from our head. Pope Francis said this, just as he was repeating what the church has said for ages, as proclaimed for centuries. Pope Francis said this, he said, the family is the fundamental cell of society where we learn to live with others despite our differences and to belong to one another. The human family is the fundamental cell of human society where we learn to live with one another despite our differences. Our world and with our country leading in some kind of semblance, a very weak and superficial quest to show each other our human dignity, we have decided in our country to confuse everything about the human family. In fact, we have put in express lanes to divide the human family. In a weak expression, trying to show human dignity. But it's a pure sentimentality. It's not love. And in doing so, we have divided the most fundamental cell of our society, which teaches people how to live in a family together. And we say now we want the human family to live together. We don't even know how to live together with 4 people in the house, with 5 people, with 10 people in the house. How are we going to live as a human family? Satan has sifted us like wheat. We are cut off from our head. We have forgotten who we are. We're confused. and we're powerless. Remember also what Jesus goes on to say to Peter. He doesn't leave him there. He doesn't say just Satan will sift you like wheat. He goes on to say, but Peter, I'm going to pray for you. And when you decide to come back to me, you are going to be the one to strengthen your brothers. It's those who fall in weakness. We know the story of Peter, that not only would he fall and he would be the weakest of all, but when he recognized it and when he reunited himself to his head, when he got his head screwed on straight, when he came back, united himself to God, never turning back, he recognized his power, and he is the one now who is crushing the head of Satan. He is the one who is sanctifying and baptizing new believers. He is the one who is uniting the church, uniting other people to their head. It should be a sign to us that Jesus will always have the last word, so long as we follow him, so long as we reunite our heads with his, so long as we bring ourselves back around, we will have life. A nation under God has a chance. A nation who has severed themselves from their head will be sifted like wheat.